The breathtaking martial arts scenes, the violent bar setting, and the cool but chivalrous character Dalton made Roadhouse an iconic film of the 80s. But behind the spotlight and the impressive punches, the real lives of the actors contained little-known tragedies: illness, loss, silent efforts against hardship, and the pressure of fame. We will explore their real-life stories, both revealing the private sorrows and honoring the legacy they left for the audience. Patrick Swayze as Dalton, the solitary warrior behind the limelight. Patrick Swayze was born on August 18, 1952, in Houston, Texas, USA. In Roadhouse 1989, he played the lead role of Dalton, a bouncer with a composed, strong demeanor and firm life principles. When he participated in the film, Swayze was 37 years old, at the peak of his youth and form, bringing an image of a character who was both powerful in action scenes and rich in emotion and capacity for understanding. Dalton was a symbol of the balance between physical strength and intellect, but silent tragedies were also hidden within him, such as struggling with his past and the pressure to maintain morality in a violent environment. Patrick Swayze's real life was a series of profound challenges, not only on screen but also in his personal life. He had to face the pain of pancreatic cancer, a brutal test both physically and mentally, which was little known to the public. Additionally, the professional pressure and the requirement to maintain his rugged, heroic image sometimes forced Swayze to conceal his inner wounds, creating a solitude that only his loved ones understood. Nevertheless, he maintained optimism, a spirit of dedication to art, and his career always inspiring colleagues and the audience. Patrick Swayze passed away on September 14, 2009, at the age of 57, leaving behind deep regret in the hearts of fans worldwide. His body was cremated, and his ashes were kept private according to his family's wishes, reflecting the discreet and simple character he cherished all his life. Regarding assets, Swayze's estimated net worth at the time of his death was about $10 million USD, reflecting a brilliant career that was always tied to his passion for art rather than material ostentation. The legacy Patrick Swayze left is not just his memorable roles, but also proof of extraordinary willpower, the ability to overcome silent tragedy, and a dedicated spirit for art. Dalton, under Swayze's portrayal, is not only a screen hero, but also an icon of a resilient human being battling pain, yet maintaining integrity and belief in the meaning of life. Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley, silent strength and darkness. Ben Gazzara was born on August 28, 1930, in New York, USA. In Roadhouse 1989, he played the role of Brad Wesley, the powerful, cruel, but also subtly tragic villain. When making the film, Gazzara was 59 years old, and his deep acting experience brought a Brad Wesley who was both terrifying and convincing. This character was not only the embodiment of authoritarian power, but also the image of profound solitude where dominance and control became a shell covering an empty soul. In real life, Gazzara also went through many silent personal tragedies that few knew about. Despite being one of the most famous actors of his era, he struggled with professional pressure, spanning decades, complex relationships, and solitude in his personal life. Fame sometimes isolated him, as those around him saw him only as a powerful on-screen face without truly understanding the wounded soul within. In many interviews, Gazzara once revealed that acting was his escape, a way for him to both express emotions and conceal silent pain. Brad Wesley, under Gazzara's hand, became the symbol of the tragedy of power, strong, decisive, but inwardly riddled with insecurities and loneliness that power could not fill. Gazzara's real life reflected the same. A talented, famous man who was sometimes lonely, having to silently fight internal challenges and professional pressure. Ben Gazzara passed away on February 3, 2012, at the age of 81. His body was cremated, his ashes kept private by his family, consistent with the discreet, humble character he maintained throughout his life. Regarding assets, his estimated net worth at the time of his death was about $8 million USD, reflecting a brilliant but unostentatious career. His legacy is his haunting roles, and a reminder that behind the glamour and power on screen, there always exist sorrow, solitude, and deep internal tragedy. Brad Wesley, through Gazzara's acting, lives on as proof that humanity is an aggregate of power, solitude, and silent scars. Red West as Wade Garrett, the resilient mentor. Behind the limelight. Red West was born on March 8, 1936, in Memphis, Tennessee, USA. In Roadhouse 1989, he appeared in a guest role, leaving an impression with his composed, rugged, and strong demeanor. When he participated in the film, West was 53 years old, and his rich life and acting experience helped create a character who was both authentic and relatable despite his limited screen time. Audiences could easily perceive his authority, yet hidden warmth, the spirit of responsibility of a reliable friend and colleague. Red West's life off-screen was a sequence of silent challenges and private tragedies. He was a longtime close friend and colleague of Elvis Presley, but that relationship also contained much turmoil, pressure, and emotional pain as he witnessed the events in Elvis's life. West had to face difficulties in his acting career, balancing work and personal life, as well as health and psychological challenges upon entering middle age. Professional pressure, partial fame, and personal losses left deep scars on his soul, turning him into a resilient but deeply troubled person. Red West passed away on July 18, 2017, at the age of 81. His body was cremated. His ashes kept private according to his family's wishes, reflecting the simple, discreet, and humble character he maintained all his life. Regarding assets, West's estimated net worth was about $2 million USD, a modest figure compared to the spiritual influence and professional marks he left behind. Red West's legacy is not just his roles or the memories associated with Elvis, but the image of a loyal friend, a resilient artist, and a human being who silently battled personal tragedies. Although not the center of the screen, he left an indelible mark thanks to his dedication, loyalty, and efforts to overcome challenges throughout his life. West is vivid proof that behind the silent faces on screen always exist real-life stories full of sorrow and extraordinary willpower. Sunshine Parker as Emmett, the simple and solitary old fighter. Sunshine Parker was born on June 10, 1927, in Lawrence, Kansas, USA. In Roadhouse 1989, he appeared in a guest role, leaving an impression due to his simple but genuine acting style, conveying both the friendliness and the ruggedness of the character. When he participated in the film, Parker was 62 years old, and his extensive acting experience and natural demeanor helped his brief appearances become vivid and memorable. Parker's every gesture and glance reflected the subtlety and profound nature of the character, making the audience easily perceive his sincerity and potential solitude. Sunshine Parker's life off-screen was a series of silent challenges and quiet tragedies. He worked in the entertainment industry in supporting roles, not always receiving attention, but always putting in his best effort to maintain professionalism. Those years were accompanied by financial pressure, professional instability, and a feeling of being insufficiently recognized, creating silent anxieties in his personal life. Parker had to learn to face solitude, finding joy and value in every scene, while maintaining optimism, despite having small but responsible roles. Sunshine Parker passed away on February 17, 1999, at the age of 71. His body was cremated. His ashes kept private according to his family's wishes, truly reflecting the humble and discreet character he maintained all his life. Regarding assets, Parker's estimated net worth at the time of his death was about $500,000 USD, reflecting a stable but not materially brilliant career, but rich in experience and dedication to art. The legacy that Sunshine Parker left behind is the image of a devoted actor always striving to shine even in supporting roles. He is proof of the silent artists whose lives and work are often overlooked, but who always possess extraordinary willpower, silent tragedy, and a deep love for their craft. Every role Parker played is a reminder that behind the glamour, there are people silently battling solitude challenges and their own pain. Healey as guest musician, the blind musician and the fight against fate. Jeff Healey was born on March 25, 1966, in Toronto, Canada. In Roadhouse 1989, he appeared in a guest role, leaving an impression with his expressive style and energetic presence. When he participated in the film, Healey was only 23 years old, young and full of life, but his light on screen also carried a sensitivity, expressing both his finesse and internal solitude. Although the role was not central, Healey's ability to convey subtle emotion and special vitality made his character memorable. Jeff Healey's real life is a story of extraordinary willpower accompanied by silent tragedy. Healey was blind from birth due to a rare eye disease, but that did not stop him from pursuing his passion for music and acting. From a young age, he struggled with differences, solitude, and discrimination, but Healey turned it all into strength, becoming a legendary artist. He formed his own band, performed worldwide, and music was the way he expressed his emotions, connected with the audience, and soothed his internal pain. Jeff Healey passed away on March 2, 2008, at the age of 41, due to cancer, leaving behind deep sorrow for the music and film community. His ashes were kept private according to his family's wishes, reflecting the humility and discretion he always maintained in his life. Regarding assets, Healey's estimated net worth was about $2 million USD, a figure that does not fully reflect his spiritual value, artistic influence, and stature. Jeff Healey's legacy is vivid proof that willpower and talent can overcome all limitations. He not only left impressive roles and lifelong music, but is also a reminder of internal strength, the ability to battle personal tragedy and inspire the next generation. Healey proved that behind the glamour and smiles on stage always exist silent sorrows, unexpressed struggles, and extraordinary human resilience. Terry Funk as guest fighter, the seasoned wrestler and the tumultuous life. Terry Funk, whose birth name was Terrence Funk, was born on June 30, 1944, in Hammond, Indiana, USA, and was a renowned professional wrestler, actor, and producer. He grew up in Amarillo, Texas, in a family with a wrestling tradition where his father, Dory Funk Sr., instilled in him a passion for martial arts and enduring willpower. In 1989, at the age of 45, Terry Funk participated in the film Roadhouse and played Morgan, a tough and hot-tempered bodyguard under the villain Brad Wesley. Although not a lead character, Morgan became a symbol of raw strength and blind loyalty, a very Funk image, powerful, defiant, but concealing inner pain. This role reflected Funk's real-life spirit, a man who was always fully committed, unafraid of injury. But behind the spotlight was a life full of tragedy. For decades, Funk endured hundreds of injuries in his brutal wrestling career: broken bones, torn muscles, head trauma, and chronic back pain. He retired more than a dozen times, but always returned to the ring because he couldn't stand the emptiness away from the lights. His personal life also suffered great loss. His longtime wife, Vicky Funk, passed away in 2019, plunging him into depression. In his final years, Terry Funk lived quietly in a nursing home, battling dementia and physical decline, a sad end for the man once called the immortal soul of wrestling. He passed away on August 23, 2023, at the age of 79. His remains were interred in his hometown of Amarillo, Texas. Terry Funk's estimated net worth at the time of his death was about $1 million USD, a modest figure compared to the spiritual legacy he left behind: resilience, loyalty, and the image of a warrior who never gave up. Christopher Collins, as guest appearance, laughter concealing pain. Christopher Collins, whose birth name was Christopher Lawrence Latta, was born on August 30, 1949, in Orange, New Jersey, USA. He was a multi-talented artist, an actor, voice actor, and a famous stand-up comedian in the American underground scene of the 1980s. With his strong, gravelly, and nuanced voice, Collins became known for playing Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe and Starscream in Transformers characters that were linked to the childhood of millions of global viewers. In 1989, at the age of 40, Collins participated in the action film Roadhouse, playing Tinker, a loyal henchman in Brad Wesley's gang. Although a supporting role, Tinker left an impression due to his natural acting infused with sarcasm and impulsiveness, perfectly suited to the underground madness in the villainous roles Collins often portrayed. His character provided moments of relief amidst the film's violent and tense atmosphere. However, Christopher Collins's real life was full of storms. He was known for being strongly opinionated, outspoken, and difficult to control, which caused him to lose many opportunities in the entertainment industry. Having been fired from major projects due to conflicts with directors and colleagues, Collins fell into severe emotional crisis. His voice acting career gradually faded in the early 1990s, forcing him to switch to performing comedy in small bars to earn a living. His marriage also failed during this time, leading to prolonged solitude and breakdown. Christopher Collins passed away on June 12, 1994, at the age of just 44 in Los Angeles, California. The cause of death was not widely disclosed, but many sources suggest he died due to health complications combined with psychological stress and substance abuse. His ashes were interred at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, the resting place of many talented but ill-fated artists. Christopher Collins's net worth at the time of his death was only about 100,000 USD, a small figure, but the legacy he left in the world of animation and pop culture is priceless. He is a testament to the tragedy of a talented artist, brilliant, intense, and gone too soon. Marshall Rohner, as guest appearance. Brief talent and a turbulent life. Marshall Rohner was born in 1957 in Los Angeles, California, into a middle-class family with little connection to the arts. From a young age, he was fascinated by music and the world of performance, especially the sound of the electric guitar and the liberal atmosphere of 1970s rock. Upon reaching adulthood, Rohner became a talented guitarist, joining several famous rock bands of the time, such as TSOL, Charred Remains, and the Cruzados. It was that rugged, somewhat rebellious demeanor that brought him into the world of cinema. In 1989, at the age of 32, Marshall Rohner was invited to join the film Roadhouse, playing Pat McGurn, a seasoned player who was once an employee of the Double Deuce Bar and then dragged into Brad Wesley's criminal circle. Although only a supporting role, Rohner's character made a strong impression due to his rugged look, detached eyes, and an attitude that was both arrogant and nonchalant. That role in some way mirrored Rohner's own life, brilliant, unrestrained, but also full of contradictions and self-destruction. Behind the burning energy on stage was a deeply wounded person. Rohner battled addiction throughout his final years, a habit formed by the indulgent music environment and constant touring life. Many friends recounted that he often avoided solitude with alcohol and substances, trying to soothe the emptiness after each performance. His music career gradually stalled as his health declined, and opportunities in film also ceased to come. Although he maintained his passion and genuine personality, he could not escape the cycle of self-destruction. Marshall Rohner passed away on March 4, 2005 at the age of 48. The cause was believed to be organ failure related to substance abuse. He left quietly, but in the hearts of American punk and rock lovers, the name Rohner is still mentioned as a symbol of wild talent and a lost heart. His net worth at the time of his death was only about 500,000 USD, a modest figure for an artist who once stood at the peak of the stage. But the true value Rohner left behind is not money, but the spirit of rebellion, freedom, and the desire to live life to the fullest, the very thing that both made him shine and burned him down. Sam Elliott as Wade Garrett, the icon of masculinity and the persistence of time. Sam Elliott. Full name: Samuel Pack. Elliott was born on August 9, 1944, in Sacramento, California, USA. He grew up in Oregon in a working-class family where his father, an employee of the Department of the Interior, always wanted his son to have a more practical career than pursuing art. But Sam, with his quiet intensity and strong personality, chose the path of acting, and that decision made him one of the faces most strongly imbued with the spirit of the American West. In 1989, at the age of 45, Sam Elliott played Wade Garrett in the film Roadhouse. The character was a mentor, a spiritual older brother to Dalton Patrick Swayze, a seasoned man who had suffered many of life's scars. With his deep, gravelly voice, rugged appearance, and eyes filled with the past, Elliott turned Wade Garrett into one of the most memorable characters of the 1980s, an old hero, brave yet quietly approaching his end. His composure and bravery in the film earned the audience's admiration and pity. Despite being loved for his strong and experienced image, Sam Elliott's real life was not smooth. He struggled for many years in the film industry to escape the classic cowboy image that Hollywood imposed. For a long time, Elliott was considered an actor only suitable for supporting roles, even though his talent and charisma clearly transcended that constraint. Off-screen, Sam is a private man communicating little with a solitary soul, very much like the characters he portrayed. He once shared that despite achieving fame, he always felt out of place in the glamorous world, a silent sorrow of one who never stopped searching for the true meaning of his craft. In recent years, Sam Elliott has continued to dedicate himself to cinema, notably impressing with his role in A Star is Born 2018, earning him his first Oscar nomination at the age of 74, a testament to the persistent journey of an artist who never gave up. He currently lives with his wife, actress Catherine Ross, in Malibu, California, enjoying a simple life away from the clamor of fame. Sam Elliott's net worth is currently estimated at about $20 million USD. Although wealthy and respected, Elliott maintains a humble, honest, and strong demeanor, just like Wade Garrett, a hero who did not need to shine with stage lights, but with the depth of his character and the solitude carefully concealed behind his smile. Kevin Tighe as Frank Tilghman, composed resilience amidst chaos. Kevin Tighe, whose birth name is John Kevin Fishburne, was born on August 13, 1944, in Los Angeles, California, USA. He grew up in a cinematic environment. Both his parents worked in the entertainment industry, and his passion for the stage was formed early in his youth. After graduating from the University of Southern California and completing his training at the Yale School of Drama, Tighe entered his acting career with a solid foundation in theater, developing a natural yet psychologically deep acting style. When he joined Roadhouse, Kevin Teague was already a familiar face on American television, having been famous for his role as Roy DeSoto in the series Emergency in the 1970s. In Roadhouse 1989, at a mature middle age, he embodied Frank Tilghman, the owner of the Double Deuce Bar, the man who dared to hire Dalton to save an establishment sinking in violence and crime. Unlike the extremist hero or villain lead roles, Tilghman was an ordinary man in an extraordinary world, a model of simple morality amidst chaos. Thanks to his restraint and kindness in acting, Tighe made the audience feel the depth of the character, a man who believes in justice, yet is also wounded by that very belief. Kevin Tighe's real life also went through its share of challenges. Despite being highly praised professionally, he never truly ascended to A-list stardom. Hollywood, with its preference for perfect faces, often overlooked actors with his introspective style. In the early 1980s, Tighe experienced a professional crisis when he was put on a list of has-been actors, forcing him to return to the stage to find inspiration. In private life, he also faced personal turmoil, the loss of loved ones, and quiet years away from the spotlight, which at one point made him want to leave acting entirely. However, it was his own willpower and love for the profession that helped him return, continuing to appear in works like What's Eating Gilbert Grape 1993, Nixon 1995, and the series Lost 2005-2010, where he reasserted his top-tier acting ability. In his later years, Kevin Tighe chose a quiet life with his family in Seattle, Washington. He occasionally participates in small projects, teaches acting, and is consistently respected by colleagues as a devoted mentor. His current estimated net worth is about $5 million USD, not large compared to the fame of many contemporaries, but entirely worthy of a lifetime of persistent, honest artistry, never losing himself. Kevin Tighe is not just Frank Tilghman of Roadhouse. He is a symbol of the people who quietly maintain their dignity in a noisy and volatile world. Marshall R. Teague as Jimmy Reno, the rugged villain with a quiet soul. Marshall R. Teague was born on April 16, 1953, in Newport, Tennessee, USA. Before stepping into cinema, he served in the United States Navy and was an excellent martial artist, achieving black belts in various disciplines. His military training forged his disciplined, tough demeanor and cold gaze factors that later became his trademark in a series of villainous roles. Upon leaving the military, Teague chose Hollywood as a new battlefield, bringing both physical strength and spiritual depth to captivate audiences. In the late 1980s, Teague was cast as Jimmy Reno in the film Roadhouse 1989. Not a hero, not a savior. Jimmy was the brutal right-hand man of crime boss Brad Wesley, a strong, resilient man ready to kill for another's honor. At the age of 36, Marshall R. Teague transformed what seemed like a mere hired muscle role into a cinematic icon. His icy gaze, scornful smile, and satisfying confrontations with Patrick Swayze made audiences both despise and be fascinated by him. The final showdown between Jimmy and Dalton by the river became one of the most violent, intense, and emotionally charged scenes in the film, proving Teague's rare acting ability and physical prowess. Yet behind the image of the Steel Warrior was a man who had gone through many emotional fractures. Teague once admitted in interviews that he carried the solitude of a man who has been to war, the feeling of never truly fitting into the normal world. After Roadhouse, despite having more roles in Walker, Texas Ranger and Armageddon 1998, he was always typecast by Hollywood into violent roles, making it difficult for his career to break out. Furthermore, injuries sustained during action scenes also forced him to temporarily halt work multiple times, contributing to the wavering of his faith in the profession. But unlike many colleagues who succumbed, Teague chose to confront it. He became involved in charitable activities for veterans, inspiring young people about willpower and honor. Today, Marshall R. Teague still lives in Texas, continuing to appear in independent projects while also working as a motivational speaker and martial arts instructor. He is the archetype of the seasoned man, strong, disciplined, yet deeply humane. Marshall R. Teague's current estimated net worth is about $3 million USD. That figure does not fully reflect his legacy, a man who turned pain into creative energy and proved that even villains have a heart capable of kindness. Looking back at the journey of Roadhouse 1989, we not only see a classic action film, but also feel the enduring vitality of the people who created that legend. From the composed and seasoned Sam Elliott, the sincere and persistent Kevin Tighe, to Terry Funk, Christopher Collins, or Marshall R. Teague, each left a unique mark not only on screen but also in the hearts of their fans. They were artists who lived fully for their roles, and because of that, those faces, gazes, lines, and even the fleeting smiles in Roadhouse have become an unfading cinematic memory for a generation. But behind the dazzling lights are real-life stories full of tears and resilience. Some passed away too soon, others had to battle solitude, addiction, or the oblivion of time. Their lives are a reminder that behind every laugh, every punch, every applause is an entire journey of struggle, not just with the profession, but with themselves. Roadhouse is therefore not just a film, but a mirror reflecting the human spirit, strong, vulnerable, and forever worthy of appreciation. If you have loved Roadhouse, please share the character or moment you remember the most. It might be Wade Garrett's proud gaze, Dalton's decisive strike, or the intensity of Jimmy Reno. Every feeling you share will help those cinematic memories live again. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to not miss other moving backstage stories where we look back at the artists who dedicated their lives to the screen and honor them with understanding and gratitude.